Listen to what this study participant said. I started off wanting to check one thing and ended up scrolling for a few hours. This perfectly captures that original, minor intention you bring to your phone. You just want to look up a recipe, maybe reply to a single text, or quickly check the weather. You bring a clear, distinct goal to the device, and in that very first moment, you're completely in control. But the data shows us that this moment of control is incredibly fragile. Just watch how fast that intended task is completely hijacked by the app's environment. At 0 seconds, your intention is crystal clear. Check a message. Boom, 5 seconds in, a notification suddenly disrupts your focus. By second 15, the platform's default architecture has already dumped you into an algorithmically sorted feed. And suddenly, 25 minutes later, you are deep into actual mindless use. The environment successfully changed your task entirely without your conscious permission. Researchers actually have a specific name for this mechanism. It's called intent drift. Essentially, it's the pattern where platform defaults actively redirect a user away from their original conscious goal the moment they open the app. In fact, an analysis of over 34,000 smartphone screenshots observed that roughly 60% of sessions show this exact drift. It actively pulls your attention away from your initial purpose and just funnels it straight into recommended content. Now, what is truly fascinating here is the context surrounding exactly why this drift happens. It very often occurs right during task transitions. The data shows it's frequently used as this unconscious escape hatch to basically defer an unwanted obligation or lower your cognitive load. That is exactly why it's highly prevalent at night, quietly displacing your sleep, or why it always seems to happen right before you are supposed to open a productivity app for work. Which leads us to the core mechanism that takes over the session entirely. It's called a thumb trap. This is a state of compulsive scrolling where your thumb literally keeps moving after you have already decided to stop. And it is so vital to clarify here that this is a cognitive behavior gap. This is not a lack of willpower on your part. Your conscious mind has fully checked out, but your thumb, it simply never received the stop signal. Let's step through the incredibly deliberate design mechanisms that fuse together to keep this session artificially alive. First, you have the infinite scroll, which totally removes any natural stopping cues. There is no bottom to reach anymore. Then, variable reward schedules provide these unpredictable incentives, effectively conditioning your brain to just keep swiping on the off chance the next post is the really good one. And finally, algorithmic profiling delivers precisely personalized content based on your unique split-second micro-interactions. As one researcher at Carnegie Mellon University rightly pointed out, the user is not to blame here. The apps are meticulously built by armies of designers and data scientists to suck people in. Falling down the rabbit hole, that's a feature of the ecosystem. It is absolutely not a bug in your personal discipline. We really need to contrast these two states to properly destigmatize what the user is experiencing. See, ordinary distraction is just a brief, noticeable interruption. Someone calls your name, you look up, and then you just go back to work. But being thumb-trapped is wildly different. It is being encased in a designed temporal environment with absolutely zero exit cues. Your focus isn't just lost, it is actively taken from you and deliberately sustained by the interface. The number 4. When researchers forensically examined objective smartphone logs, they found a pretty stark reality. Social media sessions are roughly 4 times longer than non-social media sessions across all participants. The architecture fundamentally distorts how we experience the passage of time, which introduces the very real phenomenon of time blindness. Listen to study participant 14 here.
I had that awareness, but I didn't do anything about it.
This right here is the missing stop signal. The user is entirely aware they are way overrunning their intended time. They know they should stop, but they literally cannot halt the physical action of scrolling. Okay, so here is a crucial insight. The raw duration of your screen time actually matters far less than we thought. When researchers modeled what exactly predicts user regret, the intention usage gap scored a massive 0.76, while simple session duration scored only 0.36. Feeling terrible about your phone use isn't strictly about how many minutes you were on it. It's about the massive yawning gap between what you intended to do when you picked it up and what the app made you do instead. And here is the truly unsettling part of all this. The psychological cost is not felt during the scrolling session. You don't feel the damage while you're swiping. That cost only appears afterward as this delayed calculation of regret.
Regret operates like an opportunity cost evaluation. It hits you like a ton of bricks when you realize that the scrolling just displaced your sleep, or your work, or quality time with your family.
So let's look at how this builds into the realm of passive sensing. In a really fascinating 7-day in the wild study, researchers used passive sensor traces from an $80 consumer smartwatch, along with standard smartphone data, to see if they could actually predict this regret before it happens. They looked at things like high-frequency accelerometry, skin temperature, which app was currently in the foreground, and app switch statistics. The data reveals some amazingly clear physiological markers. By tracking reduced physical activity or altered sleep duration, researchers can actually see the physical footprint that begins to closely correlate with the emotional distress and regret a user feels after falling deep into a thumb trap. Furthermore, some systems try to detect this distress strictly through your application usage, location changes, and incoming calls, entirely without requiring any active input from you. The data leaves a behavioral footprint. Your phone essentially knows when you are transitioning from purposeful, intended communication into a mindless, regret-inducing drift. Now, I need to deliver a very crucial, cautious reminder right here. Studies suggest that these passive sensors can predict above median regret with modest accuracy. However, this absolutely does not mean your phone can diagnose you with a clinical condition like depression or anxiety. We are looking strictly at behavioral correlations here, not clinical diagnoses. It's simply an observation of a digital ecosystem, not a medical scan. This understanding is completely changing how researchers view reflection tools. Rigid, static screen time limits usually fail miserably because users just easily bypass them out of habit. They trigger based purely on the clock. Instead, researchers are looking into just-in-time adaptive interventions. These are state-aware triggers that actually try to intercept the behavior right before the regret even begins. Successful interventions might work not by restricting the user with some brute force lockout, but by illuminating that intention behavior gap. They make the hidden session visible again. This means doing things like highlighting how content changes, displaying your expected time usage before you even enter the app, or requesting pre-session and post-session plans, just to keep your conscious brain actively engaged. Because ultimately, people don't want to be locked out of their own devices. Listen to what this user said. I wish we could just take control of our algorithms. I would love to be able to just go onto my app and say, I want to see what my friends' updates are. People deeply crave intentional, fine-grained control over their digital environments. They want to use the tool without the tool using them. As we conclude our forensic autopsy of the typical scrolling session, I really want you to remember this. The problem was not that you lacked discipline. The problem was that the stop signal never arrived. Which leaves us with one final provocative question to think about. If our devices have the data to know exactly when our intentions start to drift, why are they designed to never give us the cue to return?